Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost. I'm YouTube. I caught it. Famous now. Available in 2021, the album. Dad. Yeah. I'm ready to go join the circus. The beauty guru circus. The album, like I said. Dad. AF. Rock on! Gold Dust Woman! Boost! How are you guys doing today? Happy Friday! Are you having a good weekend so far? Is your weekend just starting? I hope you guys are having an amazing weekend. James Charles is having an amazing weekend because James Charles is back on the internet. I just got a new ring light and I am trying to figure it out. It's really weird because after like 2 weeks of not looking into a light, I'm now looking into a light. I also bought a smaller ring light than I usually use, so I have the other two over there, so I'm gonna have to adjust it. I'm still getting used to it. I'm like, do I look okay? Like, this is so weird. I'm like looking into it, it's like, without having used a ring light in a while. It's bizarre. Anyway, how are you guys doing? Oh, I already asked you that. Are you having your coffee for the day? Did you notice that James Charles posted a video? That is what we're gonna be talking about today. James Charles, return to YouTube. You know what is so interesting about this is, after all of the videos that I have made called Shane's Return, Shane is back, Tati's Return, Tati's back, I don't know that I have made very many videos called James Charles has returned or James Charles is back. Maybe once or twice, like when he posted the birthday picture. But I don't think that I posted that many of them. But what's interesting is, yesterday I posted a video talking about James Charles and Shane Dawson coming back, and is it too soon? And I had a couple people out there that were like, why didn't you say this? Why didn't you say that? Now he's back. But anyway, I did tweet out and I asked you guys what you thought about James Charles' return and his video. So I will be looking at those in just a second to see what you guys had to say. I watched the video and I had some thoughts about it. So I want to give you guys my opinion on what I thought about the James Charles return video. I first of all want to say that it doesn't seem like he's been gone very long, you know. And I said in my video yesterday and talking about people's returns that I don't know that I think that the time that they're gone really matters as much as what is learned while they're gone, you know? And can they vocalize that to their audience? Can they say, well, I did this while I was gone, I've done that, you know? For example, when I talk about changes in my life that I've made, I talk about counseling and working with my sponsor and doing inventory and books that I've read. And on my Peterisms channel, I talk about, well, this book really helped me and that book really helped me. And I read meditation books and I talk about prayer and meditation and gratitude lists and on and on and on. And I feel like anybody, not just me, but I feel like anybody that has done some real work on themselves, and this is important to say before we get into this video, I feel like anybody that has done some real work on themselves could verbalize or vocalize to other people, well, this is what I did and this is what I've learned that helped me realize what I was doing or what I was going through at that time, and this is what I've learned as a result of doing A, B, and C, whatever, right? So it's kind of like when you're in a math class in high school or college, you know, you have to show your work. Like, you don't just put the answer down, you have to show your work, if you guys remember that, because the teacher wants to see that you didn't just cheat off the test, right? Like, you didn't just steal somebody else's test, like, I don't know, like James Charles stealing Tati's idea for a return video, speculatively. But this was actually your work, and these were your things that you wanted to say. So, that being said, let's get into James Charles' video. All right, the video is called An Open Conversation, and it was posted 2 hours ago. It is currently sitting at 495,000 views, and it has 69,000 likes and 3.8 thousand dislikes. Now, I will tell you what was interesting to me when I first went in and watched it, and I think I watched it at about 40 minutes that it had been posted or something like that. And the thing that was interesting to me was, number one, the overwhelming amount of views that this video received in like 40 minutes. It really, I think it was sitting at like 400 and something at 40 minutes, and 2 hours it's sitting at 495,000 views. So it's like, it got all these views right when it was posted, and then it stopped, which is speculative to me. The other thing that I noticed right away was that there were so many likes compared to the dislikes on this video, right? Unless people are really, really excited that James Charles is back. The third thing that I noticed in this video was the overwhelming amount of glowing comments. So, I want to give a shout out to Leisha, who sent me this screenshot, which I thought was very interesting. Leash, she sent me this. And she said a lot of the comments on James Charles' video are duplicates of each other. So I want to show this comment before I get into the video, because I think it is important when we're talking about commentary of this video. Are the likes real? Are the all these kinds of things real? And I think this is important when you talk about somebody like James Charles, who, you know, in the past has made things look like other things, so to speak, you know? And that's kind of, to some degree, how he got to the top of his game, right? In this illusion of, well, I'm really just this normal person, but let me put a face tuner on it and a ring light and make it maybe look like something else or whatever, you know? And this isn't the only time that I've ever noticed that James Charles' like to dislike ratio is interesting, like right off the bat, and then it kind of slows down over time. So she sent me this comment. And here, I'll put it up here for you if you know this. The first comment, let me get my reading glasses on. People keep on asking me where I got these reading glasses. They're from Caddis, C-A-D-D-I-S. It's the only company that I buy reading glasses from. They're super cool. If you look on here at the top of it, they say things. It says port on here and starboard, like a boat, you know? So anyway, the people keep on asking me where I got these glasses from. So if you look on here, it says Big Jenny Yass. And her comment, which has 830 likes on it, 49 minutes ago, 830 likes in 49 minutes. This is the comment. I was literally just thinking about James, and I was like, he hasn't posted in a while. 2 minutes later, here we are. This emoji and a smiley face emoji with like the tongue out the side, right? And then right underneath here with 45 likes, is Grace something something, and the comment is, I was literally just thinking about James, and I was like, he hasn't posted in a while. 2 minutes later, here we are with this emoji and the face. So the exact same comments back to back, which means there are bot comments, B-O-T, not B-O-U-G-H-T, which I'm not saying they're not, but there are bot comments on this video, okay, which is speculative to me then about why you're going to put this video out, having an open conversation with your audience when somebody is obviously messing with this and putting positive comments, positive likes on this video. It's obvious, okay? If you're having two comments that are identical by two different accounts on there, one right after the other, posted exactly at the same time, I mean, it's not like it takes brain science to do that. I feel like I'm going to turn this down a little bit. It's like really super bright. Okay, there, that's a little bit better. I'm like fading into the distance. Okay, so that was the first thing that I knew before I even went to this video, but I'm like, okay, open mind. Do you like my new cup from Starbucks? I was sent 2 of them. Oh, so nice, wasn't it? Anyway, so open mind, go into this video. Let's hear what James Charles has to say now that he's come back. You know, let's see if this is on the heels of Tati, if this is anything like, oh, Tati just made her return. It's like Tati came back and now everybody feels like they can come back, right? Okay, so I went in here and I took some notes of the video. Let me get to my notes. Here we are. Okay, so the first thing that he kind of goes into is he talks about how much work he's done. He's like, I've done a lot of work. And he doesn't really ever in the video, ever address what work he's done, who he's worked with, what he's learned, what lessons he's learned, none of that, okay? He doesn't say any of that. The very beginning of it is very calm. He talks about, I've talked to a lot of friends, I've talked to family, I've talked to colleagues, I've talked to this, I've talked to that, and I think he did slip in the word professionals at some point at the very end, but he doesn't mention anything about it. He doesn't say like, you know, when this is important because in his video, taking accountability that he posted before, oh, wait a second. That video taking accountability is now gone, okay? Which is interesting when you're watching this video because he references that video was not like, he realizes now in retrospect that was like not really that great of a video, okay? And then he came out and he said this and he said that and he referenced saying that he was desperate in that video. Okay, well what's interesting about that is that's almost exactly what Tati said at the beginning of her video that she came back on, talking about her last video, and the reason why she was taking that video down, okay, was that she didn't want that to be the last thing that she always saw over there, and whatever. James Charles just took his video down. He didn't say he was taking his video down. He didn't mention why he was taking his video down. He just took it down, right? Apparently, just like Tati, he doesn't want to be reminded of that. But I'm sitting there and I'm watching this and I'm like, this is very, very similar to kind of how Tati did her whole thing, except for that James did a makeup look, okay? And that was where, for me, the whole video kind of shifted. So he goes in at the beginning and he says, I've done a lot of work. Doesn't ever say what work he's done. He said, my last video sucked, basically, and he goes in there, and that's very much like Tati. And then he goes in there and he says that he's going to do this makeup look, right? Because everybody said that his last video was very, very scripted, and so he wants to have a more genuine, more authentic video where he's just talking. He agrees that the last video seemed very scripted, you know, and he said that after 8 or 9 takes, that, of course, it would seem scripted or something like that, so that he was just going to do a makeup look, and then he was just going to talk to his audience, all right? Now, where I think that, you know, scripted videos come across as very disingenuous, this is the difference, okay? If he had written down a script for the video, and he had said to his audience, I scripted this out, I wrote out what I want to say, because I think it's really important that I address certain topics, and I don't want to get away from what I'm saying. I don't have an issue with scripted videos at that point, okay? If then at the end, after they've scripted it, they just talk to their people and are like, hey, and this is how I am, right? If you need to use a script, to just like I use notes in my videos, to address certain points that you're afraid you're going to forget or whatever, I think that's completely fine. If you're using a script because it's got to keep you online for how your personality should come across, or how your talking pattern or your speaking pattern should be, and that, you know, you should not seem angry or defensive or whatever, that to me is a different kind of script, okay? A script to remind you, or, you know, a list of points that you want to talk about, like, I don't have any issue with that, right? But to come out and do a video where it's like scripted as far as like you've practiced it, and it's like a speech or giving a speech class, that's a completely different thing, right? So I don't really know what he was talking about in there, but I will tell you, for me, the downfall of this video was when he went into doing the makeup look and just started talking to his audience, because the real James Charles came out in that moment. And I don't know, and I know that there are people out there that love James Charles, and they're like, oh, you give James Charles such a hard time. No, I don't. No, I've been fair to James Charles in the past, okay? But this is a completely different situation. And James Charles really took no accountability in this video whatsoever, okay? He didn't talk about the past. He didn't talk about all of the things that have come out since. He basically just pushed him underneath a rug, okay? And didn't talk about how he's changed, didn't talk about how he's learned from these experiences. He goes in to do this makeup look, and he becomes extremely defensive. And I was like, here we go again. This is just like the last video. This is you getting defensive and you getting angry, and what comes out is the spoiled brat mentality, okay? And I'm sorry, I don't have a problem calling him that. This is a 22-year-old young man, okay? He is 22 years old. There are people serving our country that are much younger than that, okay? And there are people like, he talks in there at one point about, who am I supposed to date because, you know, blah, 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 this and whatever. And then he also said, like, and I have to pay for everything. And I'm like, there are people that are graduating from college or are going on to get master's degrees and PhDs. There are people that have been working in the workforce for 4 and 5 years that make good money, that could take you out to a dinner, okay? Don't, like, that whole kind of idea to me was like, when he said that, it's just, he has just such an elitist attitude, and it's such a spoiled brat attitude, and it totally came across to me in this video, all right? And if you don't see it, then you need to go watch the video, because at the moment that he starts doing the makeup, he starts coming for drama channels, of course, and whatever. He wasn't really talking about me in there, because I think I've been pretty fair to James Charles. He was talking about somebody, I have no idea who he was talking about, that made this list of people and all this kind of stuff. So then he goes in and he says, he's talking about people making videos, and he's not talking about drama channels in this moment. But he does get in his digs about drama channels, okay? James Charles, hold on a second, who reached out to drama channels in the past for help. He's asked for my input in the past for what I thought about certain situations. I know he's asked other people that I have talked to about their input. He even sent receipts, okay, of his own to drama channels for them to make videos, for them to clear up the mess that he had gotten himself into. So then you want to throw drama channels under the bus. This is where the hypocrisy of these people, that they want to constantly be throwing drama channels under the bus after they used us. It's like, no, okay? Like, let's call it out for what it is, right? You want to tell your masses that drama channels are the worst channels in the entire world, when really all we're doing is reporting on what you put out there in the world and doing commentary on it, but you don't have a problem using us when it's to clean up your mess, okay? Yet again, a spoiled brat mentality. So he goes on to say, And he's not talking about drama channels in this. He's talking about all these videos that come out with people that are like, you know, James Charles was talking to my boyfriend, yada, yada, yada. Here are the receipts to prove it from TikTok or whatever. And he's like, they're all fake and they're all, well, he doesn't say all, but he says like a lot of them are fake and a lot of them are, you know, like there's no truth to them whatsoever and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, but if anybody posts that, they'll instantly go viral. And that there are, what do you call it? There are videos like that that are out there that are like, have 6 million views and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, but like, where's you addressing what you did? Where's you addressing the ones that were true, that you took accountability for in that video that now no longer exists, right? And people are speculating that James Charles may have taken it down because there are a lot of people on YouTube, like Emily Baker, the attorney, that are saying that like what he said in that video could be used down the road and things like that. So they're speculating like, but James Charles did take accountability, right? Like, so what about those things? Which he kind of says something about in a second. I said in here that he seems so angry and defensive again in this video. He said to this point, okay, and this is again another example of these elitist, ego, and pride-filled YouTubers that they never can just for a moment take true accountability and be humble and walk on camera with their tail between their legs and say, I effed up. Okay, and like, I want to come back and I just want to do makeup looks and I screwed up and this is what I've been looking at. Why? Because they haven't been looking at it. They really haven't been doing any work on themselves. James Charles didn't talk about the work that he's done in this video because he hasn't done any work. Like, he hasn't done anything to take a look at this. He hasn't looked at the patterns of behaviors. Yes, he shared with us that he's now looking at driver's licenses, IDs. Yes, he shared with us how difficult it is to date somebody when you're a celebrity of his size, okay? But he didn't go on to talk about, like, what he's learned about all this, what he took accountability for, and what he's learned about that. He didn't talk about that at all. Why? Because he hasn't learned anything. But everybody's just like, his time in the timeout chair is over, okay? He's in the timeout chair like this, like, let me out, is it 11 minutes yet, 12 minutes, 13, 14, yeah, get out of the timeout chair. He's out of the timeout chair because Tati's out of the timeout chair. They're all out of the timeout chair, and guess what? Okay, y'all want to come for drama channels? This is going to be the hottest summer you've ever seen in your entire life because these fools haven't learned a damn thing, and they're going to be right back in the same problematic behavior that they've been in before. And I'm telling you right now, Shane Dawson, this is a caveat, Shane, okay? Seriously. I see that everybody's coming out, and if I were Shane Dawson, I'd be like, well, everybody else is coming back too. I want to come back. Make sure you've done the work before you come back, because if you don't, you're going to mess up again, because lessons are repeated until they are learned, and that is what we are going to witness by these people. I hope that Tati stays out of the drama. I hope she stays over and just does her thing, okay? I hope James Charles has really learned his lesson and isn't affecting anybody else negatively in his life, okay? I hope that all these people have learned from their lessons, but if they don't, it's going to happen again. And they haven't, and I haven't witnessed it, so we're going to see it happening again, okay? At least with James Charles. So then he goes on to say, if you fake screenshots, this is where he becomes the teacher, like I was saying, then you're taking away the truth. This is basically what he says is, you're taking away the truth from the people I really have negatively affected. He, you know, refers to certain words. Okay, wait a second. So you have negatively affected people by your behaviors, but now you're trying to teach people that if they fake screenshots, which I don't agree with, I don't think that's right whatsoever, okay? But if you're talking to the people that are so sketchy that they are faking screenshots to prove something about you that's based in the truth that you gave the audience, how about instead of talking to the people that are so sketchy that they would be faking screenshots, why don't you address the original allegations and what you've learned from it, okay? Why are you trying to teach these sketchy people that are making up stuff about you? You're never going to be able to control that to begin with, you know? I didn't understand that at all. So then he goes in and talks about the being desperate part that he talked about in his last video, and that it had become a meme, which it had, because it was such a poor thing to say in a video, that the reason that he acts that way is because he's desperate. Acted what way? You didn't really address it in this video, and hardly in the last one. And so then he compares himself. This was just pure to me. This was just like, this proved to me the lack of emotional development that James Charles has, because he compared himself to Hannah Montana. And just think about that for a second, okay? He compared himself to Hannah Montana, and that basically he's just an ordinary girl, like that song. I'm just an ordinary girl, you know, from Hannah Montana. Y'all know that song from back in the day? Anyway, so he's sitting there, and he's talking about how he thought that he could be James Charles, basically, on video, okay? And taking pictures in his Balenciaga shoes and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you, a lot has changed, but that hairdo hasn't, okay? I thought maybe he'd come back and be like, new hairdo, new me. I really did. I thought that he would do something with that, but he didn't come back with a new hairdo. So anyway, I'm watching this. He's like, yeah, I really thought that I kind of have this and he's like serious. And he's like, that I could be like Hannah Montana and then, you know, whatever her name was when she wasn't Hannah Montana. I don't know. What, Miley Cyrus. I didn't watch that show. But anyway, that show was about 15 years after I was like out of college, probably. I don't even know. But anyway, he said on there something like he thought he could be James Charles, like on camera and whatever, and then he could be James Dickinson when he wasn't, you know, and I don't know. Like, that's the part for me where it's like they grow up so fast, but here's the thing, okay, is that we talk a lot on drama channels about problematic young people and growing up in front of the camera and whatever, but there are a lot of non-problematic young people that are James Charles' age, that are on TV shows, that are in movies, that are winning Oscars, okay, that are going to school at Princeton at the same time that they're like in a TV show on Netflix, right? Like, there are a lot of non-problematic people out there. Why don't we talk about them? Because they're not problematic, okay? So they have seemed to be able to maneuver the dating world in a way that James Charles has not, okay? So this excuse for me that you thought you were Hannah Montana, it's just like, there are people out there that are getting around that and doing that. And he said something about, what did he say in there? That he started getting people's IDs and he should never have let them in to know him in the first place, and that they take pictures on the DL of him. And I'm just like, you know what? Girl, I'm starting me a dating company for all these YouTuber fools, okay? I just really am. And I'll vet out all the people that you want to date before you get onto it. Because yet again, I'm like, okay, James Charles, but like there were actual things that you did that you're not addressing, that you're pushing under the rug and acting like that never happened. It never occurred to begin with. Like, are you forgetting that? Like, I understand there's a lot that has been said that is not true, okay? Like, and that kind of goes along with this. But, like, what about the things that are true? What about the things that are true that you're not addressing? You know what I mean? So, anyway, he goes on to say that. And he says he really wants to date somebody that has the same, he's somebody like, if I could date a celebrity, I would have done it a long time ago. Someone who has the same schedule as me and understands my life and who he doesn't have to pay everything for. Well, then don't offer to fly him out there. Don't offer to pay to fly him to, you know, all these different places that you've offered to fly people to and put him up in houses in Coachella and all across the world. You know, come meet me here, come meet me there, all right? Like, you've admitted to some of that now. Some of that is true. Don't do it then. I mean, you know, like, I mean, if you don't want somebody to be a gold digger, stop giving the gold. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if you think that people are taking advantage of you for the things that you're doing, stop doing them, okay? There's a lot of rich people out there. There's a lot of celebrities out there that I can tell you just because they have more money than somebody else doesn't mean that they would pay the way. So you don't have to do that, right? And do I believe that there are people in James Charles' age range of dating, which let's just be early 20s to mid 20s, if I don't know if that's his interest or not, okay? That make good money and are on his level, that are promoters, that are realtors, that are just come from money in general. I mean, like, there's so many of these rich kids of Beverly Hills, of New York, of Atlanta, of this or whatever, you know? It's like, there's so many people out there that he could date that have some kind of money. I know I'm not buying it. It's like, what was, you know, there's just a lot of people out there. I just don't understand, you know, like, why James Charles feels like he can't meet anybody. There's so many people in the fashion industry and everywhere. It's like, oh, but you continue to go to the same places to meet people, and you wonder why it doesn't work out, okay? I mean, I know this is a recovery saying, but doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results is the definition of insanity, okay? So, like, you know, and if you go to a barbershop long enough, you're going to get your hair cut. So stop hanging out in the DMs of TikTok if you don't want people to say things about you. That's what you should learn. You should learn to just delete your TikTok, delete those things. You said in your video, you realize that those aren't dating apps. Girl, whoever thought TikTok was a dating app in the first place? I'm over there watching funny dogs smile and laugh and dance, okay? I never once in a million years thought that TikTok was a dating app. Like, I don't even understand it. So anyway, that was the video. He did not talk about what he's learned specifically. He didn't talk about the patterns in his life that he realized. He didn't talk about the professionals that he's talked to, which he said that he would. He doesn't talk anything about how he's grown other than doing hobbies and going to coach or Camp Coachella with his friends. And so then he took down the holding myself accountable video. So apparently, I don't know, like, you know, this is what's going to happen. James Charles put this video down, or out, okay? James Charles is back. He did a makeup look, basically, so he's more comfortable talking. But this is the reality, okay? He seems defensive and angry in his video because he is angry about this. And he feels defensive because he still doesn't think that he did anything wrong, even though he did a whole entire video called Taking Accountability. What this video should have been called was, I'm taking that video down because I don't feel the need to take accountability anymore because I don't think that I really did anything wrong to begin with. Therefore, I'm not going to address it or any of the work that I haven't done in this video, okay? And this is where, for me, it's very problematic because something down the road is gonna happen again, okay? And this time what he's gonna say is, they're faked screenshots. They're faked people making up things because he's already set the precipice for saying that there are tons of people out there that are faking these videos and faking these screenshots and doing all this kind of stuff because when they make a video like this, it goes viral, right? So then when it leaves the audience to wonder is this real or is this fake? James Charles knows his audience is very, very young, and he knows that he has his finger on the pulse of his audience. So he can tell them this, and the next time the video comes out, all James Charles has to say is, it's fake. I had nothing to do with that. And that's going to be his response to all this. So I don't know. I think that James Charles has learned his lesson? Not evidenced by what I saw in this video. Nothing has changed to me. But like I always say, time will tell. We'll have to see. I hope he has. I hope he has for him, and I hope he has for the other people, okay? And I hope that he continues to grow. And if he hasn't gotten any professional help, I really, really hope that he does. You know, I really hope, I mean, somebody said the other day about, like, I didn't say anything about, like, if I really cared about Gabby Hanna. First of all, I don't really care about Gabby Hanna, okay? I wish her the best as a human being, but I don't really care about her. Like, we're not friends, okay? And if she says that we were, we weren't, so that's whatever. But somebody said, like, if you commentary channels really cared about Gabby Hanna, then you would say that you, like, hope that she was, you know, getting mental health treatment. I have said that in videos. I said that I hope she's surrounded by people that care about her and had support. I hope that for all of these people. I hope these people that have messed up on a drastic level, okay, realize that any kind of therapeutic help whatsoever would be beneficial to them. And Gabby Hanna has talked about getting mental health treatment. So that's one of the reasons why I don't say it a lot about her. But one of the reasons why it would be so beneficial for these people to get some therapeutic help, okay, is not just because let's learn about the patterns in our life, that how we've affected other people negatively and how to stop those patterns going forward so we can have the best life possible, be the best versions of ourselves that we can be, and so we don't hurt people, we don't continue to hurt people. Not just for that, which that alone is great, right? But can you imagine on a mass level having all these people be upset with you, or having all of these people like just comfort you and say negative things and on and on and on, and you know, all the tweets and all the negativity that they've received and their career being affected like this, and yet you still don't feel like you going and talking to somebody and saying, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what to do with all of this, could help you in the slightest? Like, you really don't? Like, that's so arrogant at that point that if you won't go get help for that, you want us to believe that you've really grown as a person. And if you get in a 30-minute video and you don't say once, I started seeing a counselor and the counselor is helping me see the patterns in my life, then you haven't started going to see a counselor to me, because I don't know why that wouldn't be included in a video like this. I really don't, okay? So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with James Charles down the road. What do you guys think? I put it up on Twitter. What do you guys think about all this? I might do a video about it tomorrow or the next day, reading your comments. If you guys want to leave in the comment section below what you think, please put it down there. Like I always say, please be classy, please be kind. We can share our opinion in a nice way. I love you guys, and I will see you. Oh, I'm making 2 videos today, so I'll see you in my next video. Bye.